Hello, this is Apocrypha from Apoc Industries. This is episode 2 of the Ashlands. Things may look very different from what you remember at the end of episode 1. That is because I went ahead and did a whole bunch of what I thought would be very boring to watch stuff just between episodes. So I have set up a few sets of boilers here for electricity to be powering a few very small smelting columns. I tapped some of this iron, some of this copper, some of this coal, and some of this stone. Well, all of this stone, I guess. And that's all feeding into these smelters here. So we are now all set up to be able to start actually doing some interesting things like setting up our little bus and defending ourselves from biters. Because if we look, I noticed that there are not a lot of trees, and therefore our pollution is spreading quite far, quite quickly. If we turn off pollution, you can see that we don't even have visibility on all the places where we're polluting right now, which is pretty bad considering that when night falls, the biters are going to want to come and attack us. We are grabbing nanobots, some of the researches that we have done already, automation 2, optics, turrets, logistics, all the basic kind of stuff. So we are going to continue researching nanobots for the time being, I think. We're just going to make sure that some of this stuff is all stocked up with resources. We are carrying around some iron ore for some reason. Who knows why. We should grab some copper so that we can fill up a couple of these other machines as well. And top up our iron. And maybe grab some steel. That way we can make a steel pickaxe next time we need to replenish our pickaxe. So I haven't done any exploring still. I don't know what to expect when we head out. Didn't want to explore without y'all. And here we go. Okay, so we should be good for stuff for now. So what we will be looking at is stretching out a road over yonder and starting to actually build some things. The only resource that we have uncovered so far through our radar happens to be uranium. So we could get an early start on nuclear. We still need tons of oil and science and concrete and a bunch of other stuff before we could reasonably even consider looking at nuclear. But the option is there. We're also going to build nanobot emitter and some nanobots so that we can have an easier time clearing these rocks, because there are a lot of them and they take a lot of chopping to chop. Oh yeah, I forgot we have some iron ore that we don't want to be carrying around too. There we go. Alright. And our range is set to maximum. So now, when we grab our blueprint book, we can just go, and our nanobots should do their work. There we go. We'll keep making a few more of these while we're doing some other stuff. Get rid of these rocks. Get rid of these rocks. Oh, that's so much better. There we go. And again, we'll just toss these rocks into here. I think these may all be full up, so there we go. Alright. Electricity-wise, we're still doing alright. I am very concerned about biters attacking us. So what we want to get automated first and foremost is, well, usually I would say green circuits, but I think we're doing all right for circuits. So I think that what we might do first and foremost this time is actually science, or nanobots. No, probably science. Let's do science. Let's do this properly. We are going to plan how much space we expect some of the longer smelting columns to take. Again, this is just going to be a very, very small base, so we're not expecting to draw out anything except for probably the iron any longer than it is here. Look at all this stone. Holy moly. We're going to go through all of our nanobots just picking up stone. But that's what they're for. So we feel okay about that. We don't feel okay about the fact that these are all full. Wow. Well, it is what it is. Okay. Seems to me that I meant to do this in the opposite order and have the iron up here, but I'm not going to move them now. So if we were to pretend that we had another few of these here, that would mean that this would be coming out here. We could pretend that these were also coming out around here. That's the steel, whatever they end up being. And they need to be this far away. There we go. Here's our bus. Little bus, mini bus. We are going to put our iron, as per usual, on the innermost edge because that's what we pull off most often. Our copper will go next, and then probably steel, and we probably won't even put stone on there at all. Although we will probably want to have some walls. I don't know. Copper comes through here. I think I got that. I missed. Oh no. Oh no. Whatever we do, well, we can just fix it. Easy thing to do. Okay. Our copper. We will hook up our iron. There we go. We've got a lot of iron stockpiled. We've got a lot of all these resources stockpiled right now. Steel, I may not hook up just yet. Not until we have our science set up. So, our science, speaking of which, I am very quickly going to open up our Factorio cheat sheet just to check the ratios, because it does have ratios for science, hypothetically. So we would need one. Okay, you know what? Before I get too deep into that, I am going to build some assemblers, because we are going to need assemblers, and we are going to need some iron as well. Maybe we can feed these some more as well. There we go. That feels better. And like I said, we'll grab some iron. Okay, and more assemblers. Okay. So we should actually pull over electricity, because electricity helps with this stuff. Did you know? We'll also maybe make a turret just over here, as well as a radar. And we like to have our road lit. We're also going to want to set up ammo production pretty early, because, like I said, I think we're going to have some company pretty soon. So you can have that ammo, and you can have that radar. There. Okay. So, regardless, the first thing that we're going to set up is going to be science. And science is going to be one gear wheel assembly. Oh my god, I can't talk. One gear wheel assembly for probably providing all the gears that we need for both of the red science and the green science, because this needs a transport belt. So let's just set this up like so. This can be making red science. This perhaps would we want to be direct inserting? No. No, of course not. What am I even doing here? We are going to build 5 red science thingies, which are going to be fed by a line of copper and a line, or not a line, but an iron gear wheel thingy assembler. And these are going to be output like so. Just like so. We'll have our green science output on this side over here. And this is going to require some inserters, so there we go. Let's get those going. This is going to be, what it is to be copper on this side, but our bus is not going to allow for that, I don't think. So we will take this whole thing and we will move it over. And we love nanobots because we can easily do that. Except that we're going to run out of nanobot thingies, which we're also going to automate pretty soon. Okay. And this we are going to move over to here. We'll lay down the paths, the belts, because that way the bots don't have to work so hard at it. We don't like our bots to have to work too hard. Right, but now they can just build the rest of that. There, okay. We're also going to put some lights. Okay, so as we were saying, this is going to be copper here. The gear belts we can pull from here, put onto there. We'll take our copper in perhaps like so, so that we get a half a belt of copper. We'll take in a full belt of iron. And then that combined belt of copper and gears will go into our red science producers and produce red science. And again, we'll have our labs up here somewhere. So let's start off by getting this copper. There we go. And we're going to need some more undergrounds and some more inserters. Oh, it looks like we've run out of belts as well. We are making belts somewhere, so we're going to go grab them. And this will obviously eventually be just part of our bus, or the items that we craft on the bus, but for now, that's just where they are being made. That should be okay though. Alright, this is obviously missing iron, so we will do this. As usual, we are going to output priority on the left. Um, Science, I don't know if we actually do want to prioritize. I feel like perhaps what we want is to be prioritizing the bus over our science. If anything, we want to make sure that we're making our other stuff instead of science. So I'm actually going to set it the other way. And there we go. We are making science. On the other side, we are going to be making some more gears, which are going to be feeding into transport belts. And we are going to be, let's see, we are going to be making those on, let's do this. Let's do this. Transport belts, and we're going to be making also inserters, which also take a gear wheel. Oh. I want this to be delivering to both of these then. How can we do that? What if we do this? Have this be gear wheels, you be an inserter, you be a transport belt, and somehow output both of these in such a way that they can be consumed by science production. What do we think? I would prefer if our green science producers were lined up kind of the same way, at least, as our red ones here, but we may have to not do that. Maybe. Let's get rid of some of this. Let's start with the assumption that we do want this looking the same way. Start with that. Which also means that we're going to put this up a little bit. Like so, because these are going to be spitting out like this. Okay, these are going to be green science, and they are going to be reading off of a belt behind like so, which is going to be a combined belt of transport belts and of inserters. So those both take gears, we have just determined. So transport belts and inserters both take gears. We don't need a lot of these. These both produce very, very quickly, but the green science takes so long that, you know, we don't really need that many of these things. So if we had something like, we're also going to need some special consideration made for the fact that the inserters require green circuits, so we will have to account for that as well. But that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Certainly not a deal breaker. I would really like for that one gear machine to be able to feed both of those other machines, however. What would this look like if we were to say this is the gear wheels, this is the transport belts, and this is the other things. It would be much more helpful if I were actually able to speak. Because what I was thinking was maybe we could do something like this and pull off of here. That can put onto there and feed both of those pretty easily. And this needs some copper. We can use a long-handled inserter to feed that. This would be green circuits. This also needs, oh, that's right, these all need iron plates too, don't they? Do they need enough iron plates that we couldn't maybe use half a belt of iron plates on this? What do we think? Put that to be gears. Maybe put this to be green circuits. This would be pulling gears and green circuits, or gears and iron. This really probably should just be a whole belt of iron on its own, but it isn't. We'll see how this works. This might not work at all, but if it doesn't, then we will deal with it. The other thing that we need is another assembler for making copper wire. I don't know if any of this is a good idea or not, but it's the idea that we're going with. At this point, we're not super concerned with efficiency. What we care more about is that it is running at all. So we will take our copper from there. And then getting power to all this should be pretty straightforward. Should be. Should be. But obviously is not for whatever reason. We can just move this down one. There we go. Now we have power. Okay, so this is going to be a full belt of iron. This is going to be probably just a half a belt of copper. So we can pull this off a little bit sooner. And, well, no, we can't pull it off there. We can pull it off one later, though, and have it come out like this. That'll be our half a belt of copper. This can be our full belt of iron. It's probably nighttime. Wait, what are we doing? Yeah, okay, that's right. So that's our copper, this is our iron. And again, we are going to prioritize moving down the bus instead of prioritizing our science. Holy jumpins! Whoa, 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 whoa. It helps if we jump the correct thing so that we are not mixing up our copper and iron. Our assemblers are not going to like that very much. You should be working. What are you missing? Oh shoot. Right, this is only supposed to be a half a belt of iron, because the other half of that belt was meant to be gear wheels. So we'll do what we're doing for the copper and do this. Come on. Copy, paste, paste. There we go. Okay. Okay. This time for sure. So we've got... You are really wanting to consume all of those gears. probably do with this inserting more iron. There we go. At least now some gears are actually making it down to our inserters. This is waiting on this to be made. Surely this will be enough to feed most of these guys, right? Right? Worst case, I can always... maybe I can just put on an extra... Oh no, okay, now that the belts have backed up, we should be alright. Yeah, now inserters are making it all the way down. Perfect. The last thing that we're going to do is yank up our little science, hurled science assembler over here, and set up a new one in a better place. Sorry, science, you were so close to being done. But apparently I've still got my nanobots on. So I'll just turn them off. Okay, I'm gonna make... actually gonna make a little road up here, I think. There. Okay, and we are going to make some more labs. Just grab some green circuits while we were down there. Well, let's set up our labs that we have, at least. So we can do this. We don't like having to touch rocks with our hands when we've got robots to do it. Okay. And we'll do just kind of our standard standard build for whatever these are called, labs. There. Okay, we are going to need to pick up some more green circuits so that we can build more labs. But we can actually tear down this whole thing now because it has served its purpose, and we will be creating a new, better facility for making all of this stuff, including these belts. So we will pull all of this stuff out. Nanobot speed is finished. That's fine. Since we have red and green science, the first thing that we are going to grab is our tool belt. And we will make a few more labs. I forget how many that is. It's alright. And that'll be the last thing that we do today. Setting up some labs. These wires look awful, so I am also going to rewire them. And apparently I am out of power poles. It's alright. Some of these are still working, at least. When I say some, I mean one. One of them is working. What else do we got? Okay. And let's wire up these first. There we go. Where do my power poles go? There. And blink, blink. We'll make 2 more labs. And we're just going to handcraft those circuits. It's fine. We've resigned ourselves to it. And this should be enough to support 12 labs, I hope. Sure hope so. Because that's how many we got. One more. One more. We still haven't gotten the attention of these biters yet, but I'm sure that that will change soon. There we go. Okay, so we have what I would argue is our most important part of the most important thing to have set up, which is our red and green science. Early on in the game, at least, it's going to allow us to unlock very useful technologies that we want to have, and I think that that'll be a good place for us to end today. We went a little long, but it is what it is. Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in to episode 2 of the Ashlands. And I hope that you tune in next time, where we will set up some other production facilities for things like belts, circuits, ammo, ammo for our bots, etc., etc. Thanks for watching.